everybody. Welcome back to the High Roller Sports Betting Podcast. And once again, you're here with Coach and T, and we are ready to break down all the Week 0 and Week 1 big games. Now we're moving on to Sunday, September 4th. The only big game on Sunday is at 7:30. It's on ABC, and once again, that's 7:30 Eastern Time. All the times I give you, of course, are Eastern Times. LSU right now is a minus 2.5 point favorite at 51.5 for the over-under. Tell me a little bit about these two teams. What do you got for LSU?
So LSU loses a lot offensively. LSU loses a lot in general.
Yeah.
When you bring in a new coach,
Yeah.
and Kelly is a great recruiter, and I have no doubt that LSU is going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And they did hit the transfer portal pretty hard when he got there,
Yeah.
and brought in some solid guys that are definitely going to play for him. But they bring back 37% of their offensive total yards. They bring back about half of their tackles. Florida State, on the other hand, brings back a lot. They've got, in terms of my ranking in returning production, I've got them at about 82%, even though they bring back just under 80% of their defensive tackles. They bring back 65% of their yards, but I weigh different things in my numbers. FSU, they bring back 8 starters on both sides of the football. So we'll see how this one's going to play out.
Yeah.
Kelly, but as I mentioned, brought in 19 transfers with him to replace those who transferred out when he got the job. Because LSU was one of those, when they had their turmoil at the end of last season, different teams started picking and choosing and just grabbing guys from LSU. They lost some backs that we've already talked about in transfers to some of the other programs. At quarterback, they brought in Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Now, we were at that bowl game with Arizona State and Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed.
Kid can run.
Yeah.
He can't throw, but he can run. I shouldn't say that. Everybody can throw the ball. He's got a good arm. He's going to have to improve his accuracy. I agree with you. Given the eye test, and I hadn't seen the young man play, very much during the year, especially in person. Just watching him in person, there were, my humble opinion, some footwork issues, some accuracy issues.
Yeah, 62% completion only.
But he can run. He's a good athlete.
And he's going to look to run.
And he will, yes. He is dangerous when he takes off.
Yeah.
He's a threat offensively. Don't get me wrong. Okay, sorry for interrupting.
No, so the offensive line has 10 guys that have started games, but have only combined for 43 starts. What that tells me is it's a lot of guys that have been the bench guy that have filled in for an injured starter.
Sure. Agreed.
So most of last year's, they don't have that continuity.
Yeah.
And one of the other things is LSU in the spring, and this is one of the big things you weigh as a sports bettor. Their defensive line looked really, really special in spring football.
Okay.
Their offensive line really, really struggled. Now, why is that? Did the D-line look really, really good because the O-line was suspect? Or did the O-line being suspect, is that what made the D-line special?
Yeah. And when you're facing SEC athletes, that can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that can happen in a given game. All of a sudden, you're watching a Mississippi State team just dominate for a period of time, and that's the level of talent you're facing in the SEC. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be proven out one way or the other.
And we'll see that, and that will be proven over time.
Yeah.
Again, this is season long. We're not just talking, but specifically for this game, LSU's D-line looked like one of the best units in the country. Their O-line really, really struggled to block them.
Yeah.
We'll see which unit,
Shows
offensive
up.
or defense, really caused that.
Yeah.
Time will tell. They do bring back their best pass rusher, who only had 7 sacks.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Now, switching gears to Florida State. Florida State had a lot of rotating parts at quarterback last year. That Jordan Travis is back. He's the one. He played. Then he was benched for Mackenzie Milton, who came in, had that historic comeback, and then he ended up getting hurt, and he came back.
Yeah.
When he was healthy, it was just a big it was a mess.
Yeah.
The new offensive coordinator at Florida State is their old offensive line coach, who's been his opinion out there. He's a very run heavy guy. He wants to run the football. At least that's what he's publicly said. We'll see if that's coach speak, so to talk, or if that's actually going to become a reality. They lost their top rushers, but we'll see. Transfer portal guys, is it going to be fill in the holes? Somebody's going to have to take those carries.
Yeah. Somebody will tote
but
that rock.
Travis also at quarterback will help with that because he's also a little bit more of a mobile
guy. Yep, I agree.
We've got decent wide receiver depth, but they really underperformed last year, in my opinion. I had them ranked higher. Maybe it was going from a righty quarterback to lefty. Maybe it was just guys not being focused. I don't know. But we'll see if this wide receiver group can take that step forward. Defensively, they return their starting linebackers. They returned 3 guys in the secondary. D-line, they've got some depth, but don't really have that star power, anybody that can take over games. But we'll see how that kind of plays out as the year goes. And really, Florida State, this is a big year for them because I know the last couple have been kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Florida State's one of those programs you expect to be good, and they have not been good.
Yeah, and I would agree with that.
Yeah.
They've been a team that, for me, they've been another underperformer, not always at that level of some of the other underperformers that I've talked about in
3-9 ATS last year.
But that tells you all you need to know. When you're 3-9 ATS, you're just not living up to what Florida State's all about. And that's why, for me, this one's a tough one. And I know you have maybe a little bit different opinion, but for me, this is a tough one. I like Chip Kelly as a coach, but he's got a lot of new people. That's a lot of unknowns. Mm-hmm. Florida State, you think about the traditional Florida State a lot of times, especially somebody that's a little older like myself, and you think the Seminoles should be able to handle an LSU team that lost so many people. They've got a lot of turnover. But they're really, it's hard to say that they aren't rebuilding themselves. So that's kind of the unknown. I agree with you. I think FSU is going to try and run the ball more. All the unknowns for me really make this not a game I feel comfortable with. So that's kind of where I'm at. What are you thinking on this one, T?
I've got LSU slightly favored. About minus 0.5, really pick up.
Yeah.
Because, this game is a neutral site, but similar to the Georgia game, this is neutral site in name alone. This game is taking place in the Superdome.
In New Orleans.
It is going to
be have a few people there.
Yes. Now, Florida State is a little bit closer than Oregon was to Atlanta.
Yes.
So Florida State fans will travel a little bit better. But this is really going to be more of an LSU home game than it will neutral site. Which plays in a little bit. Like I said, to me, the line has come down a little bit. Opened LSU -4. It's currently about 2.5. So it's come down towards where I have the line.
Yeah.
There's no value there for that for me.
Yeah.
The total stayed relatively consistent, right around 51.5.
Yeah.
There's just too much up in the air in this game.
Unknowns.
Too many unknowns to bet this total. Will Florida State be more run focused versus pass heavy with the new offensive coordinator? What will LSU do? With all the talent that they have, and will those guys mesh? There's just too much unknown. So I'm going to stay away from this game.
Yeah, for me, my only lean would be the under in this one. I know people don't enjoy playing the unders a lot, but for me, and there's not a lot of value there the way I've got it written up, but that would be the only way that I'd even look at it, and I don't think I'm going to bet it. Just going to enjoy it, probably.